This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of CWK Live, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zehr, delighted to talk Star Wars with each and every one of you. We have got quite a collection of our friends here, and you are friends of ours, and we are happy to have you as we sit around our virtual coffee shop and discuss the Bad Batch, Star Wars, learn some Aurebesh, all kinds of fun things. Again, I'm your host, Dan Zehr. So happy to see you all. Let's bring in our friends. Darren Wilson, happy Bad Batch Eve. Darren, hello, great to see you. Jason, hello there to you, my friend. Still looking forward to those pictures from your trip, buddy, whenever you get a chance. Can't wait to see them. Robert says, Coffee with Kenobi, brought to you by the letter O. Oh, you're right. That's right. I'm excited. That is the letter for today, of course. Robert's here. Happy CWK Day, friends. Hello, Nick. Great, Nick. Great to see you. Sorry, that was Nick that said happy CWK Day, friends. Easy for me to say. Thank you so much, Nick, for being here. Terry, hey, welcome to you, buddy. Mary, happy Tuesday. Great to see you. Mary had some fun at Galaxy's Edge last weekend. Hopefully she'll share some of that with us here on the show. Blake, hey, CWK fan, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Burnt Waffle is here. Hello, Burnt Waffle and Mr. Fudge. Hope everyone had it. Hello, everyone. Hope you had a great day so far. I've got to stop talking so fast, but I say that all the time. You know, I guess that's what I do. Brian, this is the Tuesday. Hello, Brian. Well, it's so nice to see all of you. Wow, we've got a lot of people watching, which is absolutely fabulous. I'm so happy to chat with all of you tonight on the show. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about your top 5 moments from a different approach. We've got Aurebesh lessons, which continue, and your comments and questions. And if you're joining us on Twitter tonight, welcome. It is great to have all of you here on the live show with us. This is the first time. We always broadcast on Facebook and YouTube, so now we're getting everybody here on Twitter. It's so nice to see you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
All right, we've got some fun Star Wars news. We received word today, as did anybody who was looking at things online, that on Star Tours, I should say, as you know, once in a while they will add some new scenes from the movies to keep Star Tours fresh. Star Tours, of course, has been around for a very, very long time, since was it 86, 87? I can't quite remember. Somebody feel free to add in the comments and let me know. But it's really cool. We got word today that, according to the Disney Parks blog, we're going to see on Star Tours, starting April 5th, we're going to see brand new scenes and experiences with The Mandalorian and Grogu. And there they are. These are all pictures right from the press release and the Disney Parks blog. Ahsoka is going to be a part of Star Tours, and so is Cassian Andor. If you go to coffeewithkenobi.com, you can see and find out all about it. There is a short video that shows what happens from Ahsoka's perspective, and guess what? You get to fly through a field of Purgils on Star Tours. The video's there. Oh, it's so exciting even saying it out loud. What a cool thing, right? What a really, really super cool thing. So be sure to check that out again. And it's going to happen on April 5th at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. So worldwide, Star Tours is getting an upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, is this an upgrade? I don't know, but I thought it would be a nice transition. So here we are. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor are coming to a Blu-ray. You're going to get a physical copy of Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi, both season 1, naturally. And I mean, look at the art on these. They're absolutely gorgeous. This all broke today on StarWars.com. Some exciting things. Zach is here. What is up, Zach? Great to have you on the show. If you are someone who's watching right now on Twitter, and there's quite a few of you that are, if you can make a comment, if it will let you do that. I'm not sure if it will, but love to see you over here on the show if you get a chance. All right, so that's it for news this week. Now, let's see what's going on in the world of Star Wars merchandise. We've got the Mandalorian Night Owl Walmart exclusive. That comes out, I believe, March 14th. So that is a Walmart.com exclusive, part of the Walmart Collector Series. And, of course, it is the Black Series figure. Again, it's the Mandalorian Night Owl from Season 3. Night Owl from Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Zach says, I'm starting to love physical media. I'm noticing a lot of people are really excited about that. And I mean, it looks like if you're a Marvel fan too, and I think a lot of us are, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be available online, and several other things from the world of Marvel Plus, of Disney Plus and Marvel are going to get hard copy physical media ones as well. Jason says, I didn't have time to do Star Tours when I was at Walt Disney World a couple of weeks ago, so it will definitely be on my list next time. Yeah, it's so cool. It's iconic, and that was the thing that we had before we actually got to experience that too. Pretty cool. All right, what else is going on merchandise-wise? So on Heroes and Villains, these are both the things I'm previewing for you right now are for they're under the women's section, but anybody could wear them, of course. These are X-Wing belted cargo shorts. I actually have the Heroes and Villains Bad Batch Clone Force 99 shorts. They have actually this logo that I've got here on my hat on these shorts, but they don't come with a cargo short. So the women's shorts come with a cargo belt cargo shorts. What is my deal? So pretty nice. And there's a lot of kinds. There's also a reverse wrap Ahsoka Tano skirt, so you can wear either side of it. I thought that was pretty fun, so I thought I would share that there. And again, whatever you're ordering on Heroes and Villains, doesn't matter if it's Star Wars, it could be Star Trek, it could be Dungeons and Dragons, it could be Marvel, it could be DC, it could be anything. Just put in that code COFFEE and you're going to get 20% off your order, which is very nice, I would say. So make sure you take advantage of that. All right, speaking of taking advantage, hopefully you are joining us and taking advantage of us learning Aurebesh together. Let's go into our lesson for this week. Okay, as we do every week, we go through all of the letters and we try to learn. If you write one a week and you just learn the ones from the week before, this is how you learn Aurebesh. And we're over halfway to our goal. Before we get to that, Mary says, the Jedi Talk podcast hosted an activity to celebrate the second anniversary of the Galactic Star Cruiser opening. There were about 40 people and 3 factions looking for a relic on Batuu. The factions were the First Order, Resistance, and a new group called the Cause. We're trying to bring balance to the galaxy. Let me put that back. There were key people to meet in various spots on Batuu for each group as we all started searching for the relic. The relic was Gaia's microphone from the Halcyon. Cool. A lot of fun. For a few months, I feel like we were back on missions from the Halcyon. I can't get enough of seeing people sharing their excitement for the Halcyon, whether it's the video or different photos you shared in the CWK Cafe. It's really great. Speaking of the CWK Cafe, remember that is where you can go if you want to just chat Star Wars with us, right? It's our Facebook group. It is family friendly. So just go to coffeewithkenobi.com/community. Great place to discuss Star Wars. And it's also a great place to share your initial comments on Star Wars The Bad Batch. All right, let's get back to our Aurebesh lesson. So let's, if you get a chance, write down your letters. A through N is what we have so far. See how you're doing. There is A. You can write it as we throw it up there. There is B. So you go ahead and write down the letter B if you have a moment to do so. There is the letter C. And I'm doing something different. Usually I try to write all the letters out, which is a really good habit. But also I'm going to look at them, verify I'm doing them correctly, and then move along. So there's C. There is a letter D, which is basically the 7 with the little slash through the middle. There is the letter E. And by the way, if you are watching us on X, retweet and share it with your friends. Have them join us. This is great. This is definitely the biggest crowd we've ever had on the live show. So I'm thrilled to have you there with us. And it doesn't look like on X you can comment. Again, if somebody could jump on there if you're not on right now and find the feed on Twitter and see if it'll let you comment. Maybe you can only comment on Facebook and YouTube. I'm not sure. There is E, which is the V and the I to combine together. There is the F. That's still the one that's one of the trickiest for me to replicate. The G is, you know what I'm going to say. Looks like a sandcrawler. The H is 3 lines. 3 horizontal lines. It's almost like they took the Aurebesh C and kind of twisted it a little bit. There is the I, which also looks like the number 1. There is the J, which I don't really know. It looks like somebody's taking their hand, a Lego hand, and putting it upside down, like a little Lego minifigure hand. The K is like a box, just a 2-bit box, but without the left vertical line going up and down on it. The L almost looks like a weird check mark. The M looks like someone is flexing a muscle. Like, again, like a Lego. I always think of these as like Lego minifigures that they were posing. There's the N, which we learned last week. The N is really fun. I really like that letter. I like how it's got is it convex? Concave? I don't know. I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. It's got that little side circle and then an upside down V, and that is an N. So now, it's time, as Robert said earlier, this is the letter O. So let's see what the O looks like. The O basically, it almost looks like an O. It's just the top is much shorter. Where's my geometry people out there? What does that shape look like the most to you? It's sort of like an expand. What's a rhombus look like? I feel like such a dork because it's been so long since I did anything with geometry. I could translate Shakespeare for you. I could teach you how to write a paper, but I don't know. But anyway, the O looks like an O, but it's like pyramidish. Pyramidish, is that? I just, the more I talk, the worse it seems to be getting. So sorry about that. Oh gosh. So there is a letter O. That is a new letter for this week. Very, very fun. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Trapezoid. Thank you, Nick. I knew somebody out there would bail me out. Nick, I knew I could count on you, my friend. Thank you. Yes, that is a trapezoid. So the O is a trapezoid. If that helps you remember, that might be easier if you remember than my crazy descriptions. But again, we're over halfway through this thing. Remember to practice every single week. That is the only way that you're going to learn this and remember them. And it is really working. Again, every week when I'm in my studio or I'm at school or if I'm looking at something online or watching something on Disney Plus that is Star Wars related, I will pause the screen and try to read the Aurebesh. And it's really cool. In fact, the other day we were watching Bad Batch and I paused it and I said, Mason, I think I can read the Aurebesh there. And I was right. And now I had to think about it. And I haven't learned all the letters yet because we're only all the way to O. But you can kind of start to figure it out and almost play like Wheel of Fortune with yourself. It's really cool. Is it a valuable skill to have? I don't know. It's fun and it does make you think. So I am all about that. As a teacher and as a fan, I just think that's great, right? Make you think, get your brain ready to look at things in a different way. Very fun. All right. Well, the main reason you are here is because we're going to go into our top 5 for this evening. Today's top 5 is your top 5 moments from the latest episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. That is a different approach. A wonderful, emotional episode that was getting really rave reviews online. In fact, I believe Blake gave it, what did you say, Blake? 10 out of 10? Which is pretty exciting. Really great. So we're going to talk all about your top 5 moments from Star Wars The Bad Batch, a different approach. Again, if you are watching on X and you're not able to comment, just jump in and join us on YouTube or Facebook, and you can comment and share your top 5s with us as well. I'm going to go to number 1. I'm sorry, my number 5. Number 5 is Balance. Balance is the brand new card game. This is a card game that when we watched it on this episode, I thought, well, this looks familiar, but it doesn't. I knew it wasn't Sabacc because I'm starting to learn kind of the hands of Sabacc from being on the Halcyon and having several decks of my own. But then I realized this must be a new game. And then on StarWars.com, I looked and the behind the scenes or the episode guide, and it shows balance. It shows some of the face cards. It's actually a real game that the creators made and made cards for. And I guess in this actual episode, they had Lieutenant Man and Omega playing the entire game, but for pacing and story-wise, they made sure that that was not all in there all the way. Maybe we'll see a deleted scene of it at some point. But in any case, Disney theme parks people, if you're listening, we want a deck. That would be so cool. And it explains some of the rules on there too. But anyway, just introducing new games and new Star Wars stuff on here, I thought was terrific. So there is my number 5, a brand new Star Wars game. Card game. Blake says he gave it a 10 out of 10. Which he said he rarely gives anything. And I saw you post that in the cafe, and I was really excited. Mr. Fudge is number 5. Crosshair and Omega are working together, which is terrific. Excuse me, and I promise you that's going to come up a little bit later on my list as well. Burnt Waffle, that even Nala Se is doing things for the Empire when they blew up Kamino, her home planet, if I'm correct. Also risking her life to save Omega. Nala Se really was captivating in this one for sure. Terry said a new galactic card game. So yes, that is correct. It's balanced. What a cool game. I hope we get an actual deck. Darren's 5, Omega's knowledge of coded messages and going to a remote location. I know, a brand new location. Lau, I believe, is the name of the planet. L-A-U. Brand new one. Jason, the Cantina song playing in the background, which is also played in Sid's Cantina in Season 1. I was excited to hear it again. Jason, I was today years old when I found this out. I didn't know that. I didn't recognize that. I didn't recognize it in Sid's either. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's awesome. Mary's 5. All the animals in the cages and Omega releasing them. The pork sounds and then what looked like a Ratar in a large cage. It sure looked like a Ratar to me. Mason was pretty convinced of that. And the way it flies out like that, that was awesome. Robert, when Omega says to Crosshair, stow it. That was great. There's a lot of fun interactions between the two of them. Blake's 5, the Stormtrooper character design, just adding trench coats and goggles to their armor seemed like something McQuarrie would have done back in the day. I agree. I feel like we saw some of that in Rebels too. It was really awesome. Brian's 5, Crosshair and Omega's new disguise. That was cool. I would love to get figures of that. I would love to get retro figures of that. That would be so great. That would be so great. Again, if you're joining us on X and you're not able to comment, jump on to Facebook or YouTube and feel free to share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. Let's go to number 4. Omega keeps Crosshair in check. I didn't give any specifics because I think there's 3 or 4 times where I could have mentioned them, and I may just sort of casually mention them here. But at the end, when she finally says, all right, let's do it your way, and he says, finally, and then he starts blasting. It was just cool. It was cool to see Omega holding Crosshair at bay when they're on the streets, when they're negotiating, when they're playing that cantina. Just so many examples. Even at the beginning when they are ambushed, when they're trying to rescue Batcher. It was great. But the fact that Omega has, I don't want to say Omega has power over Crosshair. What I think is Omega shows respect, and she's tireless in how she cares about people. And Crosshair respects her. And that didn't just happen. And I think he always did. But he's going out of his way now. And I think that's great to see. So I think that's a highlight for me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat there. Let's go to number 4. Crosshair using his survival skills. But sometimes Crosshair points out that he's wasting his fighting skills. And I've noticed that too. It's almost like there's a part of the thinks that's all he has to offer, but he's also really, really good at it. Hopefully we'll see more of his self-examination. We'll put it that way. Darren's number 4, like many episodes, the sound editing is excellent. I agree. David W. Collins and everybody at Lucasfilm is doing such a great job with the sound editing on these. Robert's 4, the Stormtrooper getting blown away by the exhaust when Omega and Crosshair take off in their cargo ship. That was incredible. A really nice, kind of a sweeping Star Wars-y thing, wasn't it? Jason's, the tension of Omega and Crosshair's escape, and it was palpable. And it almost like it didn't let up from the week before, too. Number 4 for Terry, the best Kiner score work yet. Wow. That's a pretty massive body of work. So that's high praise, buddy. That's really high praise. Let's go to the next one. Blake, the cinematography of the whole episode was fantastic. For an animated show, for what it gave that world, such ambiance was a real feat for me. It was beautifully done. It's a gorgeous episode for sure. This whole series. 4 for Mary, Omega flying the ship and sending a message to the other members of the batch. She's so confident of her abilities. Crosshair willingly lets her lead, which is, again, so huge, that respect there. That's an evolution in character for Crosshair. It's definitely a change. Burn Waffles 4, that Crosshair says, let's do it your way, but you're wasting my skills. It's good stuff. Brian's number 4, Imperial officers playing Omega, or trying to anyway. Yeah, she's so good, right? She's like, she's a card shark, or like Mason at Sabak on the Halcyon. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, I put Lao's landscape. I normally don't put, usually I get very story driven or like very analytical about character stuff. But I was really moved, excuse me for yawning, but I was really moved by Lao's landscape. There's one section after they crash land, and it looks like Godzilla's laying in the ground, and the spikes of his spine are like sticking up out of the ground. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not. Maybe just because Godzilla -1 is still very much fresh in my brain. But it's really gorgeous. The greens, the mountains, and when they were going through the village, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, please let this be Batu. It's not Batu. But it was just gorgeous. I really think the atmosphere of that landscape was tremendous. And I was really, really, really drawn to it. It was like a work of art in and of itself, which of course it is. All right, let's see what other people have for number 3. Darren's 3. Seeing the different views of Omega versus Crosshair. Yes, definitely. They're the way they look at the world is very different, but I think they have the same goals. At least it appears to be. Terry's 3. Omega's desire to go back to Tantus and rescue the clones. She's such a hero. She's so cool. And she doesn't give up. Part of her upbringing, but part of who she is. Mr. Fudge for 3. Omega trying to use the skills she learned from them, and Crosshair knowing so much about the Empire. Ships he knew the cargo ship was being tracked. Yeah, and that's going to come in handy, I would think, too. Mary says, like Mason Z, Omega has real card skills. That's right. Number 3 for Burn Waffle. The look of the Stormtroopers now, they look like they have been there for a long time. Yeah, just like I almost said carbon scoring, but that's a Star Wars thing. Well, this is Star Wars, too. But the armor looks like kind of faded in coloration. Like they've been there a long time. It's a good call. Jason's number 3, Omega and Cross are continuing to work together, which I am not getting tired of. It's pretty cool. Let's try things your way, Omega. And then Crosshair says, finally, from Robert. That's number 3, a great sequence. Number 3 for Blake, Crosshair and Omega being complete opposites, but how they worked off each other. It could have gone a bit further, and maybe them learning from one another, but I still enjoyed their relationship in this episode. I did too, and I think it went too far already. Oh, I see. Could have been further. It's only the 4th episode of the season, and there's 15, so there's time. You let it breathe. I think it's so much more realistic, and I just buy it so much more when it's that way. You know what I mean? Oh, can now post comments to X, so that's why. Okay, so on the X you just get to watch. Well, still, nice to have you here. All right, let's go to 2. 2, cliffhanger. The cliffhanger at the end of this. We talked about this on the live on Coffee with Kenobi last week with Tom and Mason. But the 2 ships land at a distance from one another. There's like this open field. Omega runs to Wrecker and later Hunter. And then she said, how'd you get here? And she says, I had help. They turn around. Here comes Crosshair walking down the other ramp where Omega was. And then it's boom, it's over. It's over. What a cliffhanger. Are you kidding me? We had to wait a week. Well, now we just have to wait like a couple of hours, right? But to find out what happened, what is that tension going to be like? Are they going to fight? What is going to happen? So great, right? So exciting. I just love that cliffhanger. I love, and this goes all the way back to Empire, I love cliffhangers at the end of stories because it makes you realize how excited you are for the next chapter and to see what happens, and just that suspense is just so great. Okay. Let's go to number 2 for everybody else. Let's see. Oh, we still got a few number 3s that I don't want to miss. Yeah, where are we here? Wow, there's so many people. It's just so nice. The evolution of Omega and Crosshair's relationship, allowing their strengths to be leaned on during their escape from Terry. That's his number 2. An excellent point. There to the feel of Jurassic Park, where the animals were at the port in the cages. You know what? I knew there was something I recognized about that, Darren. Thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but that's it. Number 2 for Mr. Fudge. The stormtrooper getting blown away from the cargo ship, who's probably thinking, oh man, not again. You're probably right about that. Brian's number 3. Hemlock discussing Nalice's sabotage. Pretty cool. And also very tense. Like, I don't like when Hemlock is talking to Nalice. He just seems he's like a predator. It's creepy. Robert, number 2, the very last shot with Crosshair and the remaining members of the Bad Batch facing each other, which is tremendous. Number 2 for Mary Omega to Crosshair. Let's try your way. And Crosshair says, finally. Love it. Jason's 2, Crosshair's reunion with the Bad Batch and the great animation that really enhanced the emotion of Hunter and Wrecker's response to seeing him again. Yes, so impactful. Burnt Waffles, number 2, Omega getting so many credits by playing that card game. Yeah, she was racking it up. Number 2 for Blake, Omega playing cards. She's just not good at it for no reason. She learned it from season 1, playing in that one cantina the Batch was hanging in. She's a character who's earned everything she has, and we saw it on screen. It's refreshing. That's just one example of her growth. It is cool to see. And they have more time, right? In an animated show, or not even an animated show, but on a series on Disney Plus, or back in the day on Cartoon Network, or Disney XD, or all the different ways we've seen animated stuff, or long form series of Star Wars. You have more time to develop that story. And it's cool. Very cool. We're one person away from 50 people watching right now. How cool is that? Just one person away. Can we get to 50? Brian's number 2. Crosshair finally getting to do it his way. Finally. Exactly. That's so cool. And it was quite exciting. But speaking of exciting, it's time for number 1. What is your number 1? Let's get that drum roll here. The number 1 thing. Number 1 moment from this episode for me. I mean, there have been many times where I thought we're going to tie. There's no way we're not going to tie. The reunion. Are you kidding? Omega running into Wrecker's arms, picking her up, and Wrecker gets choked up. We looked around the galaxy 4 times for you, kid. And then all of a sudden Hunter says 5. But you found us. I mean, how could you not get choked up or feel emotion from that? It was such a beautiful, exciting reunion. It's something we've been waiting for a long time. Well, it was months, but it felt like years. And I'm sure it did for Omega getting reunited with her brothers. It was just so great, so wonderful. So the reunion is it. And I'm looking over here right now and I'm seeing all the comments. I'm going to share them. But it looks like we're going to finally get a lot of ties here with this. 50, we're on 50. Hello, yes. Welcome, everybody. What a nice thing. We've always had a good crowd, but now that we're streaming this live on X as well as Facebook and YouTube, we've got a lot more people viewing. That's just terrific. All right, Crosshair number 2 finally get to do it his way, which was awesome. Darren's number 1. Omega getting back to Wrecker and Hunter and wondering what will happen with Crosshair next. And we don't have to wait long, but I know what you were saying, my friend. Terry Wrecker's look on his face right before Crosshair looks down from the shuttle at the end. Amazing storytelling. Mr. Fudge, cliffhanger and Crosshair don't know Tech has probably died. But talks about him any plans that he's made. Yes. Yeah, how is he going to react to Tech? Does he already know about Tech? I don't know. Robertson won the reunion of Omega with Wrecker and Hunter. I think these are all pretty similar, honestly. It was very tear-inducing. Mary's won the reunion with the kinder music, making it so much more impactful than the cliffhanger. How will Hunter and Wrecker react to Crosshair? Oh, it's gonna be It's going to be pretty special, hopefully. Jason's number 1, Omega's reunion with Hunter and Wrecker. You can just feel the emotional embrace. It's so nice. I love seeing characters hug on screen. It just shows that relationship, and it's just a warm, honest embrace. Just nice. It's a good family bond. Number 1 for Brian, the strained reunion of the remaining members of the Bad Batch. I like how you put that in single quotes too. Burnt Waffle, when Omega lands on the planet next to a ship, and I'm just waiting to see if it's really Hunter and Wrecker in that ship or if it's Hemlock. Also, you can really feel the tension in that whole scene. Oh, it's thick. It's like humidity. It's really thick. Number 1 for Blake, definitely the ending. So many emotions. I haven't felt that way since I first saw the final arc in Clone Wars. Wow. Really showed how much the show actually meant to me, and we still have so much to see. That's a good way to explain why it impacted you and impacted so many of us, because it shows how much we love these characters, how much we love what's going on. And then Jason, I didn't realize how much I missed Crosshair until these past couple episodes. I really hope he's turning a corner and will somehow come back to the batch. I do too, my friend. I do too. And the only way we're going to find out is to watch next week. And speaking of next week's top 5 is your top 5 moments from the Bad Batch, The Return. What is going to happen? What will happen between Crosshair and the rest of the members of the Bad Batch? We'll find out next week, but then next Tuesday you can join us and share your top 5 with us. In the meantime, let's go into Ask Dan Z, shall we? All right, so what do we got here? What kind of questions do you have for me? Anyone else excited for Friday's release of Star Wars Limited, a new card game? You know what? I completely forgotten about that, but I always like seeing the art on those. That's one thing I haven't gotten fully into and invested in because there's only so much time. But yes, I think it sounds really cool. I think it sounds exciting. Yeah, you have to share it with us, Darren, on the cafe. Do you have open duplicates of each of the package action figures on your wall to play with? So, yes and no. Some of them I've got duplicates. Many of them are still sealed, but the retro figures, a lot of them I do have duplicates of. I'll have to post a picture of that at some point. I definitely have a duplicate of this guy, of my retro Chopper, that always is sitting there looking at me while I'm recording these. I love Chopper. It's still so funny. If you listen to Coffee with Kenobi and Rebels came out years ago, I used to joke, I used to joke that I was not like I'm getting a Chopper tattoo, he's fine, and now I love him. And now, like, woof, it's tempting, It's tempting. How do you know when the titles are for the next Bad Batch episodes like The Return? Well, it's in the press release that was sent. Go to coffeewithkenobi.com and search for Bad Batch. That initial press release is still there, and it shows you all the titles of all the episodes for the entire season and the days that they're coming out. Also on StarWars.com, of course. It's been some incredible little TV outside of Star Wars. I've been watching Shogun on Hulu. Any good media outside of a galaxy far, far away you've seen recently? I want to watch Shogun, so I'm glad that you said that, because I think it looks cool. But media outside of it, I don't know. I mean, lately, since grad school has been pretty intense, and some other projects I'm working on, I haven't gotten a chance to see much, but my wife and I love The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We love Only Murders in the Building. Those are really, really good ones that I think of off the top of my head. How do I think Crosshair is going to react to Tech being dead? I don't know. That's a good question. Crosshair really keeps his emotions pretty close to the vest. So I don't know. But I'm sure it's going to be difficult. With a new edition of Star Tours, what would you like to see added? Oh, new locations for Star Tours. I can't wait to see the new stuff they're going to have with The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Andor. I'd love to see some stuff from the Bad Batch. I think that would be so cool. You and Aaron Harris need to get a chop tattoo together. Oh, yeah. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, there's several ways to enjoy Coffee with Kenobi. You can go to the CW. You become a member of the CWK Alliance, get access to CWK Pour-Over, an exclusive weekly audio and video podcast not heard anywhere else. We have been slowly going through the Secret Wars maxi series or miniseries, 12 issues from back from 1984. Could be a movie at some point. We're going back and looking at that. It's been an absolute blast to do so. If you want to join the CWK Alliance, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance to find out how you can support me and help the members of the St. Jude Children's Hospital, because 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to them. Have a great week yourself, Mary. Enjoy Bad Batch tonight or tomorrow, everyone. Thank you again so much for joining us, and thanks to everybody who joined us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. We will see you next Tuesday. Don't forget to go to the CWK Cafe tomorrow morning and share your spoiler-free thoughts to the new episode of The Bad Batch. It followed on Saturday. We can share your spoiler-filled comments. The reason we space out like that is because not everybody gets a chance to watch it right away tomorrow. We want them to go in and enjoy it like we get to as well. Thanks again, everybody. Brian, thank you so much. Terry, thank you. Mr. Fudge, Jason, Till the Spire, my friends. Be well. May the stars light your way. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for. See you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here.